I can bring them over.
We'll call the Nevada City Council to order Monday, August 9th, 2021 at 6 o'clock p.m. Can we get a roll call, please?
Here. Jason Sampson.
Here.
Dave Nielsen.
Here.
Sandy Eric.
Here.
Luke Spence.
Here.
Barb Mittman.
Here.
Okay, first item is approval of the agenda.
Move to approve. Second.
Dane and Jason, any discussion on the agenda? Seeing none, council please vote.
I'll tell you that when I came in today, nothing would work. So. But it was, it's not this.
You do it the old fashioned way.
That's right.
Yep.
Nielsen.
Aye.
Sampson.
Aye.
Spence.
Aye.
Eric.
Aye.
Hanson.
Aye.
Mittman. Aye.
Okay, agenda is approved. Takes us to the public hearing on resolution number 5 and 6, Jordan Well Plan bids. So item A is Jordan Well number 4, plugging and demolition project. So we'll open the public hearing on proposed plan specifications, form of contract, and estimate of cost for proposed Jordan Well number 4 plugging and demolition project. Did we receive any comments, Karen?
No.
Is there anyone here to speak in the public hearing? Okay, seeing none, we'll close the public hearing. Move to resolution number 5, 2021-2022. Resolution finally approving and confirming plan specifications, form of contract, and estimate of costs for the Jordan Well number 4 plugging and demolition project.
Move to approve.
Second.
Luke and Sandy, any discussion?
Can somebody explain the correction? I was like trying to do the math and figure out what happened, but is the correction, what's the, we're doing that as corrected, I assume. On page 7, it says $190,543, and it says corrected $187,000. The recommendation was to approve as corrected. Is that what the resolution 5 is doing?
The bid was. You're talking about the bids.
Yeah.
Or the bid was corrected, yes.
I just didn't know what had been corrected. I couldn't tell from the paperwork.
It was there were 2 items that they had figured wrong. When they put the bid in.
They put the math
Josh Daniel is on. I don't know if you want him to answer that
Yeah.
question.
Have him do it.
Maybe that's not
in for right now, but I wanted to make sure
There
that
were
this
2
was talking
items.
about.
I know.
Yeah.
It looks like Josh is unmuted, so I don't know. Were you able to hear Barb's question?
I am, and can you hear me okay?
Yes.
To answer the question, there's yet unit prices. And so there was an inconsistency with the bid estimated between the quantity and the unit bid prices. So that was rectified and it ended up reducing the low bid amount by just under $3,000.
Thank you.
Anything else in resolution number 5? Seeing none, council please vote. Or I guess Karen will call for roll call. Okay, try your button.
But the 2 needs are even still.
Okay. We'll do roll call.
Spence.
Aye.
Eric.
Aye.
Hanson.
Aye.
Mittman.
Aye.
Nielsen.
Aye.
Sampson.
Aye.
Okay, moves us to item 3, consideration of bids for Jordan Well number 4 plugging and demolition project. And looks like that's probably looped into awarding the bid number 4, resolution number 6, 2021-2022, of resolution awarding contract for Jordan Well number 4 plugging and demolition project.
Move to approve. Second.
Jason, Brian, discussion? We'll do roll call.
Nielsen.
Aye.
Hanson.
Aye.
Mittman. Aye. Nielsen.
Aye.
Spence.
Aye.
Eric.
Aye.
Okay, and that's approved. That moves us into consent agenda. Any item may be removed for separate consideration.
Move to approve.
Dane, Barb, discussion? Seeing none, we'll do a roll call.
Nielsen.
Aye.
Mittman,
Aye.
Sampson,
Aye.
Benz,
Aye.
Eric,
Aye.
Hanson,
Aye.
And next is an appointment. Jordan was reviewing our planning and zoning ordinances and discovered that I actually had some power I didn't know I had, so apparently it has to be officially appointed to fill that position.
Approve Ryan Hutton as building and zoning official. Second.
Okay, Luke and Dane, any discussion? Okay, we'll call a roll call.
Benz,
Aye.
Nielsen,
Aye.
Sampson,
Aye.
Eric,
Aye.
Hanson,
Aye.
Mittman,
Aye.
Okay, now it's officially official. Okay, so that'll move us into the public forum, time set aside for comments from the public on topics of city business other than those listed on the agenda. No action may be taken. First, we have some new firefighters.
Good evening, council. Tonight it's my privilege to bring forward Stephanie Norris, Caleb Weddle, and Levi Murphy to you for membership to the fire department. This puts our number right at 49. We had a few retirements and we kind of been hovering around that 48 to 49 mark. So that's a good place for us to be. Stephanie's actually been on quite a while. She was attending her EMT class, so was unable to attend a council meeting on Monday night. So we're finally getting her in front of the council. So her bio, Stephanie Norris grew up in Zering, moved to Nevada in the beginning of 2020. She says that she has 2 dogs, and when she's not working or at the fire department, they're keeping her busy at home. She says, I work at the sheriff's office and as a 911 dispatcher, telecommunicator, and I have been there for 2 years now. I've always been the person to try and help others. So that's what led me to joining the fire department with Nevada. During my time on the department so far, I've received my EMT certification and been active on the Wednesday night meetings. I look forward to continuing my skills and education to better serve the public. I've been on since October of 2020 now, and it is truly an amazing experience. A good group of people, and the most important part is helping give back to the community. So that's Stephanie. She was out walking in gear today. You might have seen her walking around. Our department is working on a plan to get physically fit, so she's leading the effort on that. Caleb Weddle is a firefighter EMT. He recently moved to the city and joined the fire department. Caleb he has just finished his paramedic school and is awaiting his national registry testing. He will continue with his EMS career both in the Nevada Fire Department and Mary Green Medical Center. Caleb looks forward to serving and being a part of the great community. Caleb comes from a smaller town and has firefighter experience, Minburn, I believe it is. And so he brings a great deal of experience already to the job. He's fit right in as well, already attending fire calls and medical calls. And we look forward to having our 6th paramedic on the department once he passes his test, which you will. Levi Murphy. He grew up in Northwest Iowa and went to school at Iowa State. He graduated in 2019 with an ag business degree. Since then, I have worked at Van Wall as a solar specialist, covering the northern half of the state as his territory. My wife, Emma, and I bought a house in town in 2020. We want to get involved and get to know the community better, and volunteering with the fire department was a great way to do that. Levi was kind of funny when he came to the fire department. He really didn't have a reason to come to Nevada, and his first priority was to get on the fire department just so he could meet people. So he's been a great addition to our community as well, and obviously working at a local business. So with that, I give him to you, Mayor.
Sounds good. We'll have you come up front here. Oh, we're gonna place that away somewhere. Let's get some big photos in. Okay, please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Levi Murphy,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Iowa
and the Constitution of the State of Iowa
and the State Code of Nevada, Iowa,
and the State Code of Nevada, Iowa,
and that I will faithfully and impartially,
and I will faithfully and impartially,
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability,
discharge all the duties
discharge all the duties
of the office of firefighter EMT
of the office of firefighter EMT
for the city of Nevada, Iowa,
for the city of Nevada, Iowa,
which is now a draft required by law.
and is now hereafter required by law.
Our newest firefighters, congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay, is there anyone else here to speak in the public forum? And then we'll close the public forum with an old business. There's pay request number 2 for wastewater treatment facility improvements, phase 2 from Williams Brothers Construction, the amount of $630,285.42.
Move to approve.
Second.
Jason and Brian, discussion. Seeing none, we will do a roll call.
Hanson,
Aye.
Hanson,
Aye.
Mittman,
Aye.
Nielsen,
Aye.
Spence,
Aye.
Eric.
Okay, that's approved. Goes into new business. Resolution number 7, 2021-2022, resolution to approve the Community Catalyst Building Remediation Grant Agreement with IEDA for the Tipton Building.
Move to approve. Second.
Sandy and Dane. Okay, any discussion on that? Okay, seeing none, we will take a roll call.
Eric,
Aye.
Nielsen,
Aye.
Sampson,
Aye.
Spence,
Aye.
Hanson,
Aye.
Mittman, aye.
Okay, that's approved. Takes us to B, approval of neighborhood improvement incentive program grant application for 153 West E Avenue for demolition of the house and garage up to $3,700.
Move to approve.
Second.
Barb and Luke, any discussion on that? Okay, seeing none, we will take a vote.
Mittman,
Aye.
Spence,
Aye.
Eric,
Aye.
Hanson,
Aye.
Nielsen,
Aye.
Sampson,
Aye.
And that's approved. Takes us into report, starting with city administrator.
I don't have anything to report other than what I sent to you, but I would like to discuss more about the ordinance that we discussed last council meeting pertaining to J and K Avenue. With us updating that ordinance, I know that there's other streets that there's been some concerns on. I didn't know if we needed to include any other streets before we update that ordinance. That way we're not doing it than the one time.
The only parking I have right now, the only parking I've been monitoring is 9th Street Place. And that concern is that there's so much parking that they're not sure that the folks on the far end of the cul-de-sac, whether it's firefighter, whether fire trucks, emergency equipment can get down at certain times. And between us, we've been monitoring it periodically. The weekends are, the most vehicles are there on the weekends. Sometimes there are trucks with trailers on the back related to one of those apartment complexes, and they're on the street. Other times, there's a couple basketball hoops that have plenty of room, and there's maybe 7 cars on the whole cul-de-sac. So I don't know whether maybe parking on one side. I don't know what the answer to that is, but maybe somebody besides me needs to kind of try to take a look at that.
Sure.
I think I forwarded that email to you originally 6 or 8 weeks ago. We've just been watching because he was feeling silly for contacting me because the next time he looked, everything was fine. The street was basically clear.
Mhm.
So we haven't yet figured out like what the exact circumstances are. But he's clear on the inside of the very end of the cul-de-sac, and it's just a circle. So I'm not sure.
Where was that?
9th Street Place.
Yeah, we've been doing a lot of ticket enforcement, parking right along by the apartments. And
There you go.
I'm sure Sergeant anticipated to talk to Colin with that, and see if. But, yeah, you're right. There are a couple of people that sort of park there and then you check in 48 hours and they move and some trailers and.
Yep.
So we're aware of it. We've been.
Okay, great. Thank you. I'll report that back to the person that contacted me. So cancel that.
All right. Okay, I'll scratch it out.
Well, you can leave it on. You can scratch it off.
Okay. Any others? I think there was one on 10th Street a few weeks ago as well. Oh, I'm not worried about that. It was the same one that Barb mentioned at the last.
That was like thinking it's just.
That would have been a
duration of
temporary thing.
Construction.
Yeah.
Would not be anything permanent.
Well, it was definitely cozy when I drove through there one day. It depends too on, both vehicles staying as far to the side as they can, but a lot of people coming south on 10th there by the fire station don't necessarily hug the curb as much as they should in such a situation, but short-term problem, so I don't know. I'm not super worried about it, but it's cozy for sure for a detour for a well-traveled road. All right, Karen has drafted something up, so we'll have that put on the next council agenda, and if you guys want to change anything, we would be able to change it between the meetings as well. So, I think it was September 27th is when I told you would be, I think is when it would be passed.
Final.
Yeah, fine. Yeah.
Mr. Jordan?
Thinking about COVID rates seem to be going back up. Don't know if we want to revisit the things that we had in place in the past, because I think the positivity rates are getting back up in close to that range where we'd had some precautionary measures in place.
And I had that written down. So,
Yeah.
and so as far as, my thinking about that over the last few weeks watching that is, there's a couple of things that are a little bit different. So that's why I wanted to make sure if we do something, I want everybody on board, because it's not quite apples to apples like it was last summer for a couple of things. One, in Story County, 94% of seniors above 65 are vaccinated, which obviously those are the folks most vulnerable. So I'm really excited about that. That's a really hard number to beat. But the other issue is the positivity rate we're using before. When we set the 8%, they were doing a lot of asymptomatic testing and there was a lot more volume of testing, and now they're not doing the asymptomatic testing. A lot of the folks that are vaccinated aren't being tested. And so that rate is naturally going to be a little bit higher. So it's hard to compare to what it was before either. So because of those two things, looking at the documents we had last summer, they don't necessarily apply. So if you would like to see us craft something new, we'd want to have that discussion.
Do we know what the school is doing with regards to the issue?
Nothing. They're not gonna require masks. Well, the governor won't let
Yeah, I
them.
mean, as far as like positivity rates or anything like that, are they still watching that number? Or?
As far as I know, they're not gonna do anything. I think the only thing I've heard, and Jason, you can correct me, is you have to wear masks on busing because it's technically public transportation, right? So I think that's all the schools are doing, is requiring masks with everybody that rides a bus, sports, kids, drivers. Am I correct on that, Jason? That's what I thought. As far as the school going, and this is just what I've got because the kids are getting ready to go back, is, they can't make them wear them. They can if they want, obviously, but until our governor changes her mind, she's kind of tied everyone's hands on making masks mandated, so to speak. I know Des Moines School came out here a day or two ago and said they're going to probably fight her on it, that they want to mandate masks if the rate goes any higher than where it's at now. So that'll be interesting to see how that goes. But I don't know. I can't say they're not monitoring it, Dan. I can't say that. But as far as what they're going to do with the kids, they aren't and really can't do anything right now. So the only thing that I know about is the busing. That's all I know about.
The concerning with hospitalizations for kids kind of seeming on the rise with this stuff.
Yeah. And like I said, till we can get the governor to change her mind or sign something different, the school really can't do anything.
Do we know the statistics that Marlis was sending us for a while? Are those still available? those statistics, I know that the
I think so. They're just not reported daily anymore. So they're not quite as up to date as they were when we were doing it before. I think it's weekly. Now the state, I think, is
Right,
reporting that.
And I think Story County came out with a stance earlier, what was last week, wasn't it, about recommending mask wearing or something now? I know they did something, and I can't remember, I shouldn't speak.
I know.
But I know the
Government.
I know the government said,
Health Department did.
Story County Health said,
Yes,
had made a stance on something
there's
about
signage,
it.
there's signage like at Walmart and Sam's Club saying that it's
They'd like you to.
recommended that you wear just for your own safety because of the Delta.
Yeah.
I think the supervisors might be talking about it at their meeting tomorrow too.
Well, and private businesses certainly are. Unity Point is requiring it of all their employees. I mean, it's gonna come out to the private.
Yeah, I know the hospitals have never lifted their mask mandate, so to speak, when you go into a,
Well, this is
pharmacy.
employees, so it's different.
okay.
Gordon, do we have any data on vaccination rates among our employees at the city?
No, we do not. I can guess that we probably have about 50% of them that are vaccinated, but
We considered offering an incentive of some kind to get vaccinated?
no, and I'm not gonna offer an incentivization for that because, what are you gonna do for I mean, you're shaming the people that aren't getting vaccinated. I mean,
Not
it's their personal choice as well. So if someone doesn't want to, then,
I don't think it'd have to be publicly known who did or didn't. You just offer.
but it would be because it's public money. So if we're incentivizing them, it's public because it's public monies.
One of the
It
legal,
wasn't money, but.
It doesn't, it's
time off
still,
or something.
A benefit
it's
or-
still a benefit that is paid through the taxes. So therefore it's public. It'd be public monies.
One of the legal hurdles that I know that Jordan and I talked about early on when the incentives were starting to happen was, can employers do it? Yes, they can, but you still have to consider the religious exemptions and the health exemptions. And so what do you provide for those folks that can't get vaccinated for a particular reason? Are you still going to offer them the same incentive if they provide the exemption waiver? It becomes a landmine of legal liability to do that. I know that there's all sorts of private sector companies that are doing that. I had advised Jordan, don't be the test case. So part of that is on my recommendation.
The mayor could stab them with a needle.
Yeah.
Have you at least given information on where they can get it or?
I heard
They
today
got,
there's gonna be.
they got offered fairly early in one of the groups because of, well, depending which departments they were as essential workers. So
And the
we did.
library's gonna host a clinic.
What's that?
soon. I heard the library's gonna host a clinic soon.
I mean, we could always send out something that lists where to get it in town. There's at least 3 outlets ongoing.
Heard somewhere today, I don't remember the company, and it doesn't matter. You get free state fair tickets and food coupons if you get your shot. So they're trying to incentivize people in Des Moines to get theirs by letting them into the state fair for free.
Better than a 6-pack of beer, which is.
I saw those signs today. I think they're just all over. So anybody that it's not
Yeah.
related to a company or
Yeah,
a
I
public
think it was a-
entity, it's just, you see the sign, you go, if you want your state fair tickets,
Mhm.
get your shot and you get your tickets.
Whatever
And they
works.
drive through.
Does that mean if I got mine back in April, I get state fair tickets?
I don't think so, Jordan,
Um,
because they're gonna hand you your ticket when you get unless you go again.
Go get a
Your
booster.
vaccine.
Yeah.
Go get a booster.
yeah, there you go, booster shot.
And what's hard with the vaccination rates is Story County statewide has been in the top 10 and pretty high. It's hard to know for sure how the campus affects it with those numbers because there's such a large number of folks there. And I don't know if that skews us even lower because I feel like the number of vaccines we've given in non-Ames portion of the county is higher than the population that live in that part of the county. So I feel like we've vaccinated large number of people, but that's just anecdotal because statistically of adults, it's in the 60s for 18 plus, so it's approaching the 2/3. And then you add the natural immunity folks to that, and we're probably getting fairly close to that 80 to 85 range, depending on how many people have contracted it already.
Well, definitely we want to pay attention.
So what we've been doing is monitoring the numbers. If we want to start reporting things out or putting the link to the state, reporting might just be easiest so people know where to go find it themselves.
Yeah, I kind of agree with Luke. If they continue to go up and get kind of crazy, we might need to rethink our stance on it. Like,
Yeah, and we still have the ability to respond if like all of a sudden the hospitals are going, hey, we're getting too many cases like we did before. But the encouraging thing is looking at the UK, and the Delta went there first, and their vaccination rates are similar to Iowa, and that fizzled a few weeks in. So not to say that's going to happen here, but at least we have something that is fairly comparative to look at. And it came in fast and then also went down. And then also the difference this time is when you looked at the previous graphs, the vaccination, or not the fact, the infection rates and would have a death rate spike that looked very similar that would follow a couple weeks later. And this time it hasn't happened. I mean, it's a sharper infection rate and then a very minor bump on the deaths, which is a good thing because that means vaccinations are working.
You guys want it on the agenda, the next agenda to revisit the plan that you originally had?
I think if we monitor it, I don't know, I suppose you can put it on there so we can discuss it again and say, okay, nothing's changed, we're getting better.
Yeah.
I mean, it's gonna come up anyway, so you want to put it on the agenda, we can.
It doesn't hurt to have it on there because you have to take action.
That way, if there's action to be taken, we can actually take it.
If it's on the agenda, yeah, we can take action.
If we do nothing, we do nothing, right?
So one item off my report list before we get to the rest of those, is there anything else for Jordan's? Okay. Otherwise, Lincoln Highway Day stuff is up. I can let Jason talk about that a little bit more, but didn't want to forget that. So encourage everyone to help promote that to make sure everyone knows where to get the information. Jordan, we met with the Hy-Vee folks. They're really excited about opening up and it's moving along super fast. So, they'd said later in the month of August, I think was what they were targeting. So getting close. And otherwise, community coffee timeline would be the upcoming weekend, I believe. So I don't know if we talked about who wanted to do that.
What date?
Saturday morning. Anybody feeling like doing that?
Saturday.
Like Jason's checking this calendar.
You do that.
You said you can do that? Okay, Barb.
Do you have anybody else? Is there anything pressing? If there's something I should know about that you already talked about already, so I don't look dumb.
Lincoln Highway Days,
Okay.
Oh, at
that
the,
would be what people talk about.
yeah, I mean, they'll probably talk about nuisances, various nuisances around town,
as well.
streetlights.
Okay.
You can see that planning something like school board or
Yeah,
something.
maybe.
Jason, is there somebody we can tap to be there for Lincoln Highway Days on
That'd be
Saturday?
Jordan.
Jordan,
Yeah, I can do that. I should be available too, so if there's the three of us. That'd be good. Okay,
We're at 9, right?
yep. Okay, that's it for my report unless you have anything else, any questions? Okay, council reports.
we got Lincoln Highway Days Committee meeting coming up Wednesday. Still looking for more entries into the parade, more people for food vendors. So Thursday, we've got the community, what do we call it?
Party.
Block party, that's it, yeah. Community block party Thursday. Friday, a lot of stuff going on Friday night. We got down at Talent Factory, there's a show. We've got a softball tournament down at Square Park.
There's a football game at the Daily Cubs Stadium.
At least tailgate. Are they doing that?
I don't know if they're doing the tailgate or not this year. Saturday, of course, we've got the 5K run, walk run. Got the parade right after that, the festival down at the fairgrounds. We will have some events downtown, so it's not just the fairgrounds, so tractor and truck show, or yeah, tractor and car show downtown. The what do we call it, the kiddie tractor pull thing will be downtown also. At fairgrounds, there will be some bags tournaments, and for the wrestling team, there'll be an auction right after that. Lots of food trucks, the Mason train, rides, tons of rides, 3 carnival games on top of the Baptist church games inside the building. There'll be 3 carnival games right outside the rides. And we got the rodeo after that. And then after that, there'll be the beer garden with the band, and what do they call it, the Williams?
Oh, Williams, yeah.
Pavilion, yeah.
Bunch of pandas again?
Huh?
They get a bunch of pandas again?
I don't remember who they said they were getting. Do you remember who they said? I don't remember. There'll be crafts, there'll be vendors inside the sheep side of the barn, no, the beef side. I don't know which side's which. The beef sheep barn will have lots of stuff, so there'll be indoor stuff, there'll be talent shows going on all day long, weightlifting. We got some bearded people, I think, coming or something like that.
The weightlifting?
Outbench the mayor.
So all kinds of stuff, bench shows,
I'd show.
oh my gosh, there's just so much stuff going on. I can't think of everything.
Basically similar format to 2 years ago, but even more.
Yeah, a little bit more this year as 2 years ago.
Food vendors, more activities.
Yeah, the corn boil going on.
And then the rides might also be 2 days instead of 1. I don't know.
Yes.
I think
Yeah, Friday night rides.
Maybe
too,
have some
on
rides.
top of everything else, yes. So we are
Can have fun 2 days in a row.
expanding.
Rodeo added more seats.
So, come on down.
Take the
The shuttle. If you need a shuttle to get down to the fairgrounds, take the shuttle. I'll be running from high school, central, county building, and I'll make a. Can't think of anything else. You guys think about that? Miss anything?
I don't know. Probably, because there's so much. Yeah, there's a lot going on, so.
Lots of stuff. Can't wait. It's gonna be blessed.
Okay. Any other reports?
I'm gonna mention the review.
Oh, yeah, we can talk about, so Jordan's administrative review will do a 360 style. So we have the questions about done. Jordan will review himself. You all will do it. And then we're finishing up with Sandy and Karen about how many others to do, some department heads and people that Jordan interacts closely with. So you get a good view from other perspectives. So once you get that, it'll be about a week's turnaround to turn that back.
And it's online, so, and it's fillable, so you can do it online. Thank you, Karen.
Karen and I will button up this week the list of people to send it to, and then you'll get it in your inbox. Anything else?
So in June, we did the half marathon and we finally got our finances figured out from that. And the addition of a 10K and a half marathon very obviously helped the financial picture for that race. And the American Legion received a check for $4,500 for last week from Runners United Nevada. So we're going to be able to buy a lot of fish with that.
Do you have an amount, how much you guys have donated so far this year?
We're sitting right about 10,000 between all the races we've done so far. We've still got a couple left, so. Maybe running could help out so many different community organizations.
The reports, we'll go to staff. Okay, we'll go back to Director Reynolds.
Just a couple of things follow up on the report. The last week we had a really good success with our ultra high pressure. We were called to a barn on fire with 4 hay bales that were burning. Turned out it was about 25 hay bales fully engulfed next to a barn. What was really neat is Stephanie Norris was first one using the UHP. We attacked the bales, and it was the first time in probably 30 years that I've seen us fully put out hay bales on fire. That's been a nemesis for the fire service for a long time. Usually you'd roll them out and let them burn for days. But it was neat because with about 200 gallons of water, we put out 18 bales, and it was Stephanie's first time using the UHP system. So it was pretty impressive. I know Levi was involved as well. And so it was kind of neat to have the other departments see the success of that UHP system. We're closely monitoring the rail crossings. We've been through this a couple of years ago, and it looks like we're back at it again. Credit goes to Jordan and Jeremy for communicating with the railroad. Their original plan was to shut down all but one of the intersections, and the pushback and feedback that they gave Union Pacific changed course on what they were doing. So we have 6th and 19th open now, and then we'll have, when 19th goes under, we'll have multiple ways to get in there. It's just a logistics thing. We'll deal with it, but it certainly could have been a lot worse had those two not intervened with the plan. We are again doing the 9/11 Stair Climb. We currently have about 60 people signed up. We've had it open for about a week, and we are working on a flyover. We'll have the 9/11 steel present. We'll have our big flag there, and it is 20th anniversary. We're going to be doing it September 10th from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. We're really excited. Key Co-op has already stepped forward with a donation. Our goal is to cover the food so that everybody gets hot dogs from Chicago Treats. They're our food vendor. And at this point, we've heard of a few other. Mid-States is working on a potential design for a commemorative medallion that everybody will get, like a challenge coin type thing. So really a lot of good support. And thanks, Jordan, for reaching out to some of those folks on our behalf. October 22nd, we are planning on burning the house at 153 West E Avenue. We're currently working on the logistics of getting word out. We're working with Marlis on a communications plan. We'll be going door to door so that the neighbors know. Probably the biggest impact on Sunday morning is going to be the church. But we are planning on keeping most of their driveway open so that their folks can get it in and out. We will shut down a section of E Avenue from Highview to just about that east drive of the Christian church. And so that's just for the safety of everybody involved. We're going to have multiple fire departments involved, and it's a pretty big house. So hopefully the house will cooperate. But it'll be great training. It's a beautiful house for live fire training. We do have a DNR permit. We do have the asbestos inspection. So all the legal processes were taking place. We're allowed 2 burns, live houses, so to speak, a year. And this is our first. And then you might have seen it in the report, but I also wanted to just kind of bring it to your attention, the significance of our department receiving the AED grant from the state of Iowa. Will allow all of our police cars, our community service officer, even the public safety director's police car, to be equipped with an AED. So that's the equivalent of about a $20,000 grant that we received at no cost. So when you talk about cardiac health and first response, that's a pretty significant thing to have every police car be equipped with an AED. So we think that's a good win. So thank you.
Hey, Ray, this might be for you and maybe Jordan at the same time. First and K.
First and K, yes.
Are we going to burn that house?
We gotta hold it.
Legally? No, sorry. Yeah. Yeah, we're the city attorney on the best city processes to handle that house.
Buy it for the first time this weekend in a long time, and I see it's really been cleaned up and a lot of stuff gone on in there, and I didn't know where we were at on that house. So.
Well, I will tell you, we made a promise to the neighborhood that we were going to deal with this. And I know a lot of people have done that in the past and didn't follow through, and they're fed up. And so we owe it to them in our community to deal with that. So true credit goes to Park and Rec and Street Department. And we've been working with the homeowner and the owner that moved to Nebraska realizes we're serious about it. So right now it's all in the hands of our city attorney to go through the title search and all that legal stuff. But yeah, the junk is gone, the trash is gone, the metal's gone, the vehicles are gone. Now it's just kind of maintaining the property until we can get legal possession or whatever we're going to do with it to rid that hazard. So yeah, Aaron's been great to deal with on this. So thank you.
Yep. Right now on that, we're just waiting to we have to get a title certificate so that we know what lien holders we have to serve with notice. So we're going through that process right now to get that, and then we'll move forward.
If we auction off the rights to be the person to light the match, I bet we can make a lot of money.
Well, our only concern is the power lines are pretty close for a burn. I do not like burning in the city unless it's pristine, because, you know, you burn out in the county and something goes wrong, nobody notices, but you burn in the middle of,
Felt someone
Okay,
sliding here.
yeah, everybody remembers the fire chief's phone number then. So, yeah, so hopefully, we'll get to that process, and it'll take some work with some partners to move some things around. But our goal is to follow through on our commitment to the neighbors.
Thanks.
Well, you're there too. I've had questions about the gas stations again. Have we had any update from that battle?
Yeah, so the last update we had was that they were going to open them last December. They were waiting for a red line tag on the gas pumps. I've seen some gas monitoring companies out there doing tests and stuff. I'm not sure I totally believe anything that's being said, because I mean, it seems like there's an awful lot going on with the owner that in other places. And so I think it's something we're going to have to go after ordinances on abandoned commercial properties and stuff like that to deal with, because calling the person saying, where are you at? It really doesn't put it, they don't even live in our town. So, you know, they live in another state. So putting pressure on them over the phone really doesn't work. So I think Jordan and Aaron, I don't want to speak out of turn, but I think they've had discussions about these type of ordinances, property maintenance ordinances and stuff like that. Yep.
Did we mow it last time? Did our guys go up there and mow it?
Oh, yeah, I know they mowed the east one. I don't know if they.
I don't know about the west one, and I noticed that there's been some weeds that are, the issue is it's going to start to become a nuisance, and property trees growing up into the foundation. And the hard part for me to sit back is I don't want to sit back and let a building become a dangerous building before we take action. And that's what's happening. And so an aggressive approach to maintaining commercial property is probably our best bet.
DNR was involved at some point with those, correct?
Yeah, when they sold from White Oak to the New York investment firm, DNR tagged the pumps because they have to have them re-inspected. They have to have insurance on them. And the owner says, I'm not going to buy insurance until I know that they're going to okay my pumps. Well, it's kind of like the chicken and the egg, you know. One of them's waiting for the other one, and the other one's saying, well, we're not going to unleash your tanks unless you have insurance. So that's been a really frustrating part with that, is that a person that owns all these gas stations should probably know how to make that process work. But I have seen the DNR vehicles there. I have seen well testing vehicles on the east one, and that led me to believe that they were going to move forward. I do believe that there are some legal issues between the previous owner and the current owner. And as we all know, that could probably take some time in the courts as well. But meantime, again, I would encourage us to look at some aggressive abandoned commercial property ordinances. And just from the firefighter perspective, I think these abandoned commercial properties present a danger to our fire department. Thank you.
Thanks, Ray.
Well, my big issue with not just those, and it's probably not a discussion for now, is when we're trying to make our community look better and people drive up and down Lincoln Way, and then there's multiple properties that just look like just don't look nice.
Mhm.
And I don't know. What?
Look abandoned.
The old
Yeah,
DQ.
because
Mhm.
I'll tell you what, that white oak by us on Second Street is aggravating my son.
Mhm.
And he said, Dad, I'm just gonna go mow it. Because he goes, we can't have Lincoln Highway days with stuff on Lincoln Way looking like they look, so. I don't know, there's a few other ones, but that's for something else.
So eventually,
And you
that's-
mentioned the DQ, and Jordan has been working with that owner.
Yeah, Ryan and I have really been working on that, and I think we've kind of got to a point where we can make progress on it. We just have to figure out some of the financials of it.
I do think there's a lot of grumbling out in the community about it. And I do think it's very well justified. And over time, that's going to be the primary way into our downtown. So
Well, I know it's in NEDC's strategic plan, the gateway corridors, and I'm sure when you redo ours, I expect it'll be in there. It came up in the Vision 2040 documents too, so.
Came up in our own discussion a few
Yeah.
weeks ago. So hot issue.
Speaking of NEDC, we talked about Brenda last time. I don't know if you have anything to add this evening, but thank you for coming. Does everybody know Brenda? Seeing nods. Want to make sure.
I'm not the library.
Okay.
But I've been, it's really, that would be easy, yeah. That'd be easy.
We'll have Sergeant Sismadia next.
Not a whole lot of change. Cameron Sidness will graduate, August 20th from the academy. And we're hoping to send two, one for sure. Madison passed the ILEA, physical agility today over in Ames. And then, our second, person was also there, but they have to complete the MMPI and the physical for the city before we can officially give them an offer. So, but we want them to get them tested, so that way. It just won't get in. I don't suspect any problems, but
You never know.
you never know.
Don't count your chickens.
Yeah, so one for sure. And then, we just opened up, an ad again, testing September 18th. Sergeant Brandis is gonna handle that one. I'm gonna in my hands hiring for a while. Need a break, so.
Got us a couple. You did good.
5 times.
You're right the first time.
So, but, Josie's back. She came back from deployment and she'll get some time just to kind of decompress and do her thing. And I think, she wanted to come back, around September. So. Anything else?
Thank you. In zoning. You gotta go to the mic.
Not a lot to update. Still just kind of going through the process of reorganizing things, getting permits up to date and accounted for. So I had a lot of good progress on Lincoln Way as of recent, getting everything sorted back out. They're gonna push to get Fifth and Lincoln intersection done immediately. So that's the update on the construction thus far. Couple new houses coming in, and it seems like some builders are reaching out and interested in coming back to Nevada to build, so. Any other questions?
Thank you.
Very welcome.
Karen.
Just been working on the ARF, questions that they've asked for our funding and preparing to get 3 letters for the school and the county and, IMWCA audit. getting those reports. I sent those off last week, so they'll be looking at those. We have an admin staff, personnel out for 6 to 8 weeks, so we'll be shorthanded up front, so.
Anything for Karen? Karen? Larry?
Well, not too much new to report. I was out with all last week. The city staff is initially making progress on all projects. We'll report the next council meeting. I do want to make you aware that the intersection of Lincoln Highway and Fifth Street, they would expand the work at that intersection. There was a minimal amount of work there, just replacing water mains through the intersection and then patching the street back. Permanent to now replace all of that intersection, so we need to be doing some additional underground work and some redesign of the intersection grade. So, think more on that in the future. Pat, if you have any questions, I'll try to answer them. Mike is still on, if you want to report on the
Was there any specific reason why they're doing that?
Yeah, because there was two manholes there that were still bricked and they needed to be replaced.
Oh, okay.
Okay, Mike, do you have anything from your perspective?
The wastewater plant project is moving along. And we are continuing to work on finalizing the design of phase 3 and phase 4 for the wastewater plant project. If there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer those.
Anything new on the trunk line, Mike?
We are working with JCG to get the title assessments and valuations done. So that process is moving forward, as well as the environmental review element of that realignment. So we are pushing forward with everything there and making progress. And we're looking to potentially hold a public meeting to update affected property owners of the revised alignment. So things are moving ahead with the trunk sewer.
Will that put our project behind schedule at all?
For the construction element that's going on right now?
Or having to change the trunk line and everything else?
Just the whole project in
Yeah,
general.
is the project itself still on time?
Yes, we're still on schedule and still planning to be able to bid phase 3 later this fall and bidding phase 4 probably after the first of the year. Still all on schedule to meet the completion deadline and the compliance schedule for the.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
Aaron?
Nothing for me.
Okay. Anything else from council before we adjourn?
Move to adjourn. Sorry.
Dane and Jason, all those in favor, please say aye. Any opposed, please say nay. Okay, and we are adjourned. Thanks, everyone.